Welcome back to my channel Forensic Forum. Our today's topic is hair biology. In today's lecture, we will learn the biology of hair in forensic aspect. What is hair? The study of hair is called trichology. Hair is the characteristic features of all the mammals. The human body is almost completely covered with the hair follicle. The part of hair that is within the follicle is called hair root. Hair is a proteinaceous filament that grows out from the follicle found in the dermis, mainly made up of 95% of the keratin. Hair comes under the trace evidence in forensic in different cases like violent cases, assault, rape, etc. Hair is divided into three parts: root, shaft, tip. This is the root region. The part of hair that is embedded in the hair follicle is called hair root. It is beneath the skin. And shaft. It is the visible above the skin. It is the visible part of the dead hair projecting above the surface of the skin. This region is called shaft. And tip. The most distal part of the hair is called hair tip. Anatomy of the hair. Humans have about 5 million hair follicles over the body. Hair is derivative of the epidermis. The follicle is the essential unit of the hair growth. At the base of the hair follicle, there is a papilla which is made up of connective tissue and small blood vessels. Around the papilla, there is a hair matrix. Which are the collection of epithelial cells and melanocytes. This is the outer root sheath, and green color is an inner root sheath. Around the hair shaft there is a sebaceous gland producing the sebum. It is called hair's natural lubricant. Arrector pili is a tiny muscles attached to the hair follicle which contracts. The hair becomes more perpendicular to the skin, commonly known as goosebump. Chemical composition of hair: keratin, lipids, minerals, pigments. Keratin is a fibrous and helical protein. Keratin is synthesized by keratinocytes. Keratin is insoluble in water and thus it is waterproof and protect the hair. Keratin is made up of mainly 18 amino acids. The most abundant amino acids are cysteine, serine, glutamic acid, glycine, threonine, arginine, valine, leucine, and isoleucine. The chemical elements found in the hair are carbon 45%, oxygen 28%, nitrogen 15%, hydrogen 6.7%, and sulfur 5.3%. There are other trace elements found in the hair are calcium, magnesium, boron, aluminium, silicon, sodium, potassium, zinc, copper, manganese, iron, mercury, arsenic, lead, phosphorus, selenium, etc. The abundance of the trace metals varies from individual to individual, depends on the exposure of different metals. Hair pigment. Melanin is the pigment responsible for the color of the hair. It is found in diffused or granular form in the hair. There are mainly two types of melanin, eumelanin and pheomelanin. Eumelanin is responsible for the black and brown color of the hair, while pheomelanin is responsible for the red and yellow color of the hair. The color of the hair is determined by the presence of the amount of the melanin. For example, the gray color of the hair indicates the less amount of melanin in the hair, while the darker color of the hair indicates the higher amount of the melanin in the hair. Stages of the hair growth. The stages of hair growth begin with the nascent phase It is also called active growth phase. It lasts from 2 to 6 years. In the aniston phase, the hair follicles are pulling out hair that will continue to grow until they are cut or reach the end of the lifespan. At any time, about 90% of the hair on the head are in the aniston phase. Next phase is catagen. It is also called transitional phase. It lasts from 2 to 3 weeks. In this phase, the follicle shrink and hair grows slow. The hair also separate from the bottom of the hair follicle. About 5% of the hairs are on the head remain in this phase. Next phase is telogen phase. It is also called resting phase. It lasts about 3 months. An estimated 10 to 15% of the scalp hair are in this phase. Hair don't grow in this phase and don't usually fall out. This phase when the hair start to form follicle. The end of this phase is called exogen. In this phase, hair is shed from the scalp. The new hair are growing in the follicle as old hair falls away. Types of hair. There are three types of hair: Lanugo hair, vellus hair, terminal hair. Lanugo hair are very thin, soft, usually unpigmented hair that covers the unborn or newly born baby, while vellus hair are short, fine hair that grows in most of the places of human body in both the sexes. It covers most of the body during childhood. Next is terminal hair. It is longer, coarser, thicker, and darker, fully developed hair. The conversion from vellus to terminal is stimulated by androgenic hormones during the puberty. Structure of the hair. The cross section of the hair shaft shows three zones: cuticle, cortex, and medulla. Cuticle is the outermost layer of the hair covered with the scales, and the scales are pointed toward the tip of the hair. The human has imbricate type of scale pattern. This image is showing the imbricate type of scales on the surface of hair, while this image is showing brown outer layer is showing the cuticle, middle layer is showing the cortex, and orange central layer or innermost layer is showing the medulla. The cuticle is the outermost layer, consists of thin, non-pigmented, microscopic scales, while cortex is the middle layer, consists of longitudinally arranged elongated cells. Within these cells are fibrils on which there may be granules of the pigment. Medulla is the innermost layer composed of keratinized remains of the cell. These three zones are also seen in the root or bulb, but the tip is usually non-pigmented in the hair of the human. In human hair, the medulla may be intermittent or interrupted type, fragmented type, stacked or absent type. First image is showing the continuous medulla. The black solid line is a medulla. This type of pattern is called continuous medulla. Second image is showing the dotted fragment of the medulla. So this type of pattern is called fragmented medulla. And third image is showing the absence of the medulla. Here is no medulla, or absence of the medulla is seen over here. These are the microscopic observation of the hair. And if there is no medulla in this type of hair, these hairs are usually very thin and light in color. Different species of animals shows the different pattern of the medulla. Like this pattern of the medulla is seen in the dog hair, and this type of medulla is seen in the deer hair, and this is the pattern of the medulla in rabbit hair. This is the pattern in cat hair, and this is found in the mouse of the hair. Types of scale pattern. The outer layer of the hair, that is called cuticle, is covered with the different kind of scales. There are three types of scale pattern is also seen on the surface of cuticle. One is the imbricate, second is the coronal, and third is the spinous. Imbricate type of scales is seen in the human, while coronal type of scales is seen in the mouse. Spinous type of scale pattern is seen in the cat. Coronal, this is a shape of crown. Crown-like embedded structure is seen in the hair is called coronal. A crown-like structure of scales are called coronal. When there is a petal-like structures are found on the surface of the cuticle, this pattern is called spinous, and this is the pattern of the imbricate seen in the human. In the last slide, I have a question for you, and the question is, in Indian population, which type of pigment is found in human hair? You can give me your answer in my comment box. Thanks for watching. Please like and share.